What's up guys, Darkdally here, playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, and today, on this gloomy morning here, I want to check out a new weapon. Boy, Unidad's gonna blow up my spot before I even start. Okay, today, Ghost Recon Wildlands, we are testing the ACAR. Can't see it really well here because the weather's kind of cloudy, so let's go ahead and let's check it out in the menu. Now, if I recall, I think this is one of the newer ones that comes in the new battle crates, and it's a kind of a distant cousin to the AK. Its closest relative in the game would be the R4, so we're going to kind of compare it against the R4. Now, I have tested the R4, I do believe. By this point, I kind of forget what I have and haven't tested. I'm sure we've tested the R4. I'll have a link to that video in the description of this. We're going to kind of test these together, and, well, there's a couple things I'd like to look at. First of all, I have these comparably equipped with parts, and they definitely have a lot of differences. Here's one thing I want to look at. Let's compare the stats. Now, we all know stats don't mean crap in this game, but let's compare the stats of the ACAR versus the R4. These are both distant descendants of the AK. Well, not too distant, but they're based on the same platform. That's why I'm comparing them. Look at the difference in the stats. These have the same parts. I've set them both up for recoil because that's the first test I want to do. So they have the same parts on them right now. And when you look at the stats, it's staggering. Now, first looking at the damage, that said, the R4 so far has done, it's hard to test damage, guys, but so far the R4 has done just, it did the best in damage I've seen on my regular damage test. So there's that. But we look at all these other bars. Wow, look how much higher those are. Well, we're going to test today. We're going to test these, and I might even, our last video was the 416, which is a pretty damn good rifle. We might throw that in here too just to see how this thing compares, because I have a feeling the ACAR is going to do better than its stats say that it might. Let's go ahead and start with, well, recoil. And that's very simple. Fire at a wall and see what your recoil pattern looks like with the best, you know, with the best parts equipped. You know, you want a buttstock, you want a lot of weight on it, you want a good forward grip and short barrel. I have a video on that as well. I have a video on how to set up your rifle for the best recoil control. We're already set up for that, so let's go ahead and test that now. So here's the ACAR. Let's see what its recoil looks like. That's not too bad. Let's go ahead and swap to an R4. It's equipped with the exact same parts. Again, in comparing these because they're so close, they're both based off of the same Israeli assault rifle. Let's go ahead and try this one out. Alright, same. That's kind of what you'd expect. But did you see the difference in the stats? Alright guys, let's go down here. We're going to check bullet drop. We want to see how accurate this thing is over range. I'm going to compare it to the R4, and if I'm not satisfied, I'm going to compare it to something else as well. Alright, so for testing bullet drop, the first thing we're going to want to do is go through and modify these for accuracy over range, which means longer barrels and rangefinders. Now, I've already got rangefinders on them, so let's see. Here we are with the ACAR. Let's see. Yep. Standard barrel. So that's all we're going to get out of the ACAR. I can't imagine it being more accurate over range, but I haven't tested it yet, so I'm not sure. Let's go to the R4. I know it'll take a long barrel, actually. It will. Though these are very similar rifles, they will take different parts. This one will take a long barrel. It, too, already has a rangefinder equipped. Those are the only things they're going to modify a bullet drop. Wow, the R4 looks a lot longer, doesn't it? I mean, even before I put the long barrel on, it looked a lot longer. Now, we always test assault rifle bullet drop from 250 meters, so we're going to run the 250 meters from our target, and we're going to see where these hit. All right, so here we are at 250 meters. We've got the ACAR. I almost said ACR. ACAR. We've got it out, and we're going to peg this guy with one single shot and see how far it drops. All right, you can see right there, we hit right near the top of that brick. That looks like the fourth brick up from the bottom. We hit it right near the top. Just remember where that bullet hole is. I'll mark it on the screen for you, probably. And we're going to go with the R4 and see how comparable our bullet drop is. Let's find out here. Let's see how these two compare. Remember how different the stats were? Now, they performed the exact same on recoil. Now, here's the thing. Remember, right here, I have them modified for maximum accuracy over range. The R4 has a long barrel. The, oh my God, look at that. The ACAR does not. Holy crap. Once again, we have one of these things like we had with the LVOA, where it's like, if only it could equip a longer barrel, it'd be so much better. Look at that. So, technically, Well, as you can see, they hit in the exact same spot. These two rifles hit in the same spot. Now, the difference is this. The ACAR was using a standard barrel, and I had to equip an encumbering long barrel with the R4 just to match it. Now, again, remember the difference in the stats bars. Actually, I'm not going to show you. I don't have to show you. Remember, the R4 has higher stats in everything. Actually, let's check that out since I've equipped that long barrel on it. Let's go ahead and, so here we have the R4 selected, highlighting the ACAR. Everything is lower. Look how much lower the accuracy is, the damage, everything is lower. And yet, this is, yeah. Okay, so once again, we already know stats don't mean anything. All right, so this performed pretty well in the bullet drop, but how does that compare overall? We know the AUG 3 is the most accurate over range. We know the one to beat right now is kind of the 416 because that was the winner of our last competition. We know the AUG 3 is going to hit higher than anything, but why don't we put this against the 416? Let's grab a 416 and let's modify it for a bullet drop, and let's see how this compares. Since this was the winner of the last competition, which was it was this 416 versus the LVOAC that we can now get. All right, let's make sure that, okay, so we got that. We can put a long barrel on this. All right, what do you guys think? I actually don't know. I haven't done this yet. Whoops, I forgot to equip it. There we go. So we get the 416 equipped now. We're going to run this on a little bullet drop tester just real quick. I just want to see which of these is, I mean, when you're talking accurate rifles, some people want to know what is the most accurate rifle. Well, so far it's the AUG 3. If this thing, well, we'll see. If this thing, well, let's just find out, guys. There's our shot with the 416. Let's move up with the drone. And yeah, so the 416 is more accurate than this. And so, of course, the AUG 3 is going to be another half a break up from that. Or another few inches, 6 or so inches up higher from that. So we can see, all right, I just wanted to throw that in there. So we do know that the ACAR so far is doing really well against its brother, the R4. It's so far performed better here. Let's see. It performed the same in Recoil. It performed, well, when I say better here, I mean they had the same bullet drop, but you had to equip a long barrel on the R4 to get that. So I say it performed better here. Now it also had a really low damage bar. Let's go try it out in damage. Now, so far the R4 is the one to beat on damage because if you recall when I did that convoy, let's go ahead and start traveling there now. I always do this convoy up in Kawani. The R4 took every guy down with no more than 4 shots. I was astounded that the R4 did that well. It took no more than 4 shots to drop each guy. If you recall the last test we did, the 416 sometimes took 5 or more. The LVOAC took as many as 6 or more shots sometimes. So we're looking at a pretty tough mark to beat here, comparing the ACAR to the R4. Now, I know everyone, wants to see, every rifle compared to their favorite rifle. There's a lot of assault rifles in the game, and they keep adding more. It's making it harder and harder. So people, people ask me, why are you testing this? I'm testing it against the R4, like I said, because it's its closest real-life relative in the game. Even though their stats are wildly different, they are performing very similarly. So let's test it against this convoy. All right, so we're waiting for the convoy to get here, and one thing I want to mention is we are testing this on extreme difficulty. Let me go ahead and show you here. I always do my damage tests. That's what we're doing right now on extreme difficulty. A lot of people ask me, why don't you do it on tier? Why don't you do damage testing on tier mode? Well, the reason is this. I'm tier 1. A lot of my rifles are various different levels, and it wouldn't be fair to test a level 1 rifle, which I just got, versus a level 16 rifle I've had for a while or whatever. Or even if they were both level 1, just standard base, haven't been leveled at tier 1, that wouldn't be a fair comparison. There's too many variables there. The reason I test on extreme difficulty is because it's a level playing field. All my rifles are going to compare, as far as I can tell, the best against one another. If that makes sense to you guys, because I get that question a lot, because I always clarify what difficulty I'm on, and get the question. Oh, we get that question a lot. Okay, so we got to tag this convoy pretty quick here. There we go. Let's go ahead and, because we want to stop the convoy about 300 meters out. And there we go. Took 2 shots with the BFG. How about that? Okay. So here we go. Let's check this out. We're about 300 meters out. We got the ACAR. We got to set the best we can for range. Let's see how we drop these guys. Let's go ahead and put it on full auto. How about that? Okay, 3 shots on that guy. At 300 meters, that ain't bad for an assault rifle. That looks like an unmarked right there. 4 shots. Look like to me. Again, you guys do the counting. Wait, we got unmarked up here somehow. Even though I spotted, we got unmarked guys up here. This guy I'm shooting does not have a mark over his head. They pulled their truck up in a weird way I've never seen, blocking the rest of the convoy. That's okay. This is not just about range. This is because we always, as you guys know, if you've seen the series, we always move up. Let's go ahead and move up with how many targets is that remaining? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to get them as we can. This is looking pretty good, though. This has done pretty good damage. We've dropped a few guys with very few hits. 277 meters. 4 hits. I did once again choose a good rifle to compare it against. It's looking like it's pretty much on par with the R4 in damage because we're taking... I haven't counted. You guys rewind if you want to and let me know, but I haven't seen a guy that I can tell take over 4 hits just yet. The LVOA, even at point blank, was taking more than this. All right, we got guys charging us. Let's see how we do on engagement. Got reload. This has a really fast reload too. All right, this thing is incredible. Few assault rifles take that few bullets and do that well. I had a little bit of dodgy aiming there. I think my sensitivity's turned up a bit. One thing I'll say about this, let's do that again. Let's fire and reload. One thing I'll say about this, that reload is super fast. That feels super fast. I haven't measured the reload speed on this yet. Most of the rifles are within like a 1/10 of a second, so it's probably not worth doing, but gosh, that thing reloads fast. Let's reset this convoy, and we're going to do this again with the R4 and see, because so far, I've yet to see an assault rifle, aside from the R4, do the kind of damage I just did to that thing. Now, recall the damage bars. I know I'm making this longer than I need to, but again, recall the damage bars. Let's find the R4 here with the exact same parts, and that's why I'm doing this in extreme, not on tier mode, because that way you know there's no, these rifles aren't different levels or anything. With the exact same parts, look at the difference in damage. The game says this thing does like half the damage of the R4, but we just saw annihilate this thing with fewer bullets than even the 416 took. All right, guys, let's reset this convoy and do this up. All right, so now we're going to test the R4 against the same convoy. Now, if you guys are wondering how I reset these convoys, what I do is I don't pick up the resources, and then I kill some rebels or civilians and get a game over, and it resets me back at Quantity Bravo. If you guys want to do testing like this and you want to reset a convoy to test, because this is a great convoy to test on, then that's how you do it. Just don't collect the resources, get a quick game over, and there you go. Let's go ahead and get this convoy marked, and we're going to go with the R4. I really don't see a need to do this because I know we're going to see the same thing, but we're going to do it anyway. Let's go ahead and get the convoy spotted. All right, let's take our shot on the chopper. There we go. BFG, I don't know why I chose that one. Sometimes it takes extra shots. Okay, so here we are with the R4. We have the exact same parts. Let's take some shots of these guys. Oh, I must have headshot that guy. He fell right out of the gunner position. Oh, wow. The R4 really is a killer in damage. See, I wasn't lying, guys. Why is that truck still driving? Why is that? Oh, there we go. I've never seen that. Wow, this thing's a killer. Okay, so the R4 is hard to beat in damage. I think I'm getting headshots, but like I said, this thing never took more than 4 shots to kill a guy. But then again, remember the ACAR, it didn't either. We've already wiped out like a decent amount of the convoy. Wow. The reload on this rifle feels longer to me, but it could be because they make different sounds when they reload. The R4 was a favorite of mine. If you guys watch my live streams where we went through Fallen Ghosts, this was the weapon I used, if I recall, all the way through it. And this was the weapon I was using that entire like period of the game. I shot the guy in the ass twice and he died. So, all right, so there's that. Okay, there was a foot shot just to get him out. I think they're honestly probably about the same on damage, but the R4 feels... Well, until I missed all those shots, the R4 feels good, guys. Okay, so this is how I do damage tests. It's like combat effectiveness. We got guys charging us. We got guys at long range, short range, a little bit of everything, and me missing a lot. Wow, I'm not on my game today. It's a little late in the day. I don't normally do videos this time of day. And we only have one left, and he's coming out. Yeah. Oh, you guys just saw me miss a lot. Okay, so honestly, they kind of performed the same here. I think they technically did perform the same. This was a really bad one. Well, this wasn't a bad one. This was just not as scientific as I usually like it to be. And I say that a lot because it never is. You never know how things are going to work out. Sometimes you're going to miss a lot like I did today. I missed quite a few shots. It's okay. What matters is the hits they took. Let's compare these side by side. So the R4. Let's swap to the ACAR. They sound really different. A lot of times I pick a rifle, I'll pick a rifle based on its sound because they're all so close. Let's check out the reload. Here's the ACAR's reload. And the R4. Nah, it's the same. They just make different sounds when they're doing it. The ACAR sounds like it reloads faster because it goes click, 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 click. It has more clicks in it. It sounds faster. All right, so pulling the ACAR back out here. Comparing these two rifles. So same recoil, same bullet drop, but remember the ACAR is a smaller, more compact package, and it does the same because with a standard barrel, I got the same bullet drop as a long barrel on the R4 down there. And that's the same on this convoy. The R4 was running a long barrel, which says it does twice as much damage as this little guy, and this thing did really just as well. We had different situations in this convoy. We always do, and you can never replicate a combat situation exactly the same every time. I was really impressed. Oh, I gotta say, I want to call the ACAR the winner here. Despite its super low stats, as you can see, every metric I can find to test it in, it's performing the same as everything else like it should be. So forget about the stats. I want to call the ACAR the winner, and that's because it did everything the R4 did, only with a shorter barrel. However, I don't want to forget, this is one thing I want to mention. Here's the R4, even though it's much longer and more cumbersome, and did the same thing. Something about it really impressed me. It might have just been the sound. Has a different sound, and I was getting a lot of headshots with it. I'm going to call the ACAR the winner because I think that's the proper thing to do here, because as far as I can tell, neither rifle took more than 4 shots to kill a guy on this convoy. You guys tell me what you think in the comments below. I was right to compare these rifles to one another as they are similar in the game, just as they are in real life. I think here the ACAR is the winner, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Tell me what your favorite rifle is. Maybe you want me to compare one of these against another rifle. Tell me what you'd like to see this compared against. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been a real pleasure. I'm Darkdally. I will catch you guys next time.